Based on prior history, there's that one vehicle that comes along once a decade that completely shakes up the automotive industry and redefines a segment that for the most part hasn't changed in years. The 2022 Genesis GV70 appears to be that crossover that so many of us have been waiting for to reshuffle the deck for the luxury market, as the sales figures suggest that Americans still prefer the luxury and performance of German vehicles over any other manufacturer. While models are just beginning to arrive at dealerships, the GV70 has already received high praise from journalists and early buyers, and there's at least some speculation that we might just have a vehicle that can give BMW and Mercedes-Benz a run for their money. So here are 5 reasons why you should buy a 2022 Genesis GV70. Genesis hasn't been around very long, but they've already made a name for themselves when it comes to the exterior designs of their vehicles, as the GV80 has been referred to as being the poor man's Bentley Bentayga. The GV70 takes that styling one step further, with one of the most unique appearances we've ever seen in this market, maybe since the Infiniti FX. Up front, you have a sophisticated and upscale look, with brushed aluminum and gloss black accents on our Sport Prestige model we recently featured. Regardless of whether you go with a base trim or a fully loaded GV70, the lack of plastic cladding is worth noting, as Genesis continues on with the clean and almost car-like road presence for their crossovers, which is more common among premium luxury brands than a manufacturer vying for relevancy in the $40,000 to $65,000 price range. Eye-catching will be the LED quad headlights that adds a sense of elegance to this crossover, but probably not as noticeable until you get behind the wheel or see the GV70 in person is the extended hood, which is almost a throwback to how vehicles were designed in the past, and once again brings us back to the classier and premium luxury quality for this model and brand. Then the rear portion of the GV70 is as captivating as up front, with a rounded rear fascia and sharper body lines that run the length of this vehicle. Just like up front, our model had the LED quad taillights that perfectly fit the road presence and design, and making it apparent that it's not just an attractive crossover among a sea of cookie-cutter vehicles is the massive dual exhaust outlets that bring a sporty vibe to the mix. With the additional window integrated into the seat pillars, the GV70 has a station wagon or shooting brake-like appearance, which differs greatly from aesthetic features we see from German vehicles. And overall, when you take a good long look at the GV70, it's striking and breathtaking. And for a vehicle that starts under $40,000, that's crucial for this brand moving forward. For some consumers, it all comes down to the interior. Is the technology user-friendly? Does the cabin provide enough comfort and space? Is the interior aesthetically pleasing? These are all questions buyers are asking when purchasing a new luxury crossover. The Genesis GV70 certainly is unique in many aspects, starting off with the dashboard layout, as your eyes will be glued to the massive 14.5-inch touchscreen. To make accessing menus easier, there will be physical buttons, but also while driving, you can use the rotary dial and touchpad to help keep your eyes on the road at all times. With the interior wrapping around you, there's not only a sense of security, but to a certain degree, it has a fighter jet-like cockpit. Enhancing the comfort we experienced on our model was heated and ventilated Nappa leather seats with suede inserts. And despite the bolstering not being too aggressive, they do keep you in place when cornering. It should be noted that the GV70 doesn't have the most plush interior, as there's a lack of soft touch padding. However, the optional two-tone cabin on our model had not only reflected a good amount of light, but created an athletic driving environment that we were looking for with this crossover. The carbon fiber inlay found on the door panels and center console are a nice touch as well, and expected for a vehicle in this price range. Yet, the coolest feature that sadly really doesn't show well on camera is the 3D digital gauge cluster that comes standard with the Sport Prestige. Not seen before in this market, Genesis is standing out by offering technology that not even the Germans are using for their compact crossovers. And rather than wowing you with eye candy, the digital gauges are displayed in a classy manner to let us know why the GV70 and the Genesis brand isn't like the competitors. Overall, the interior is as aesthetically pleasing to look at as the exterior, making it a perfect match for a vehicle that's attempting to straddle the line of staying true to their reputation as being an attainable premium luxury brand, while also giving drivers a fun and sporty feel when they step inside. In 2021, you can't be considered a true luxury brand without some kind of performance and fun handling characteristics, and for Genesis, they gave their compact crossover a package that certainly impresses. For the GV70, you're going to have two engine options: a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that gives you 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque that comes standard, which also outclasses the BMW X3 by a relatively wide margin, or a 3.5-liter twin turbocharged V6 that puts out 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque, with both engines being paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. If you offer the more potent powertrain, performance is going to fall right in line with the Audi SQ5, but will be slightly slower than the BMW X3 M40i. Depending on your personal preference, the GV70 isn't going to be as sports-oriented as its competitors, and actually has a forgiving suspension where you can travel down roads with imperfections and not get thrown around. However, that will be a bit detrimental to the handling and cornering ability, as you will notice body roll in sharper corners, so this crossover might not be ideal for spirited drives on winding back roads. Interestingly enough, when you switch the drive mode into Sport Plus, the GV70 wakens up, with throttle response and steering input being similar to a car, and the exhaust note, which does get pumped in through the speakers, becomes far more aggressive to create a driving environment that will be similar to the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. But at the end of the day, the GV70 is a luxury crossover first, meant to make a grand entrance and draw attention. So if you're looking for more engagement, then you may have to look elsewhere. But this is one of few vehicles in the compact crossover segment that balances both driving styles quite well. A cause for optimism and excitement with the GV70 is the price tag, as Genesis enters this segment with a vehicle that undercuts the BMW X3, Mercedes-Benz GLC, and Audi Q5 by a few $1,000s. Even better, the 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine makes the GV70 one of the more powerful options around $45,000. Obviously, you'll have to spend extra for the creature comforts, and you can easily tack on an additional $10,000 worth of options even with the more fuel-efficient engine. For those who are power hungry, the twin turbocharged V6 comes in with a starting price of just over $52,000, and you can spend as much as $63,000 for a Sport Prestige model like ours. While the price range is a bit vast, it's competitive with the higher volume selling crossovers in the luxury market. So when you factor in the available features and performance, Genesis is offering quite a lot for a new arrival to a highly contested segment where the Germans have dominated for over a decade. Whether you've been waiting for the perfect vehicle to come around, or you're an enthusiast who's refused to hop on the crossover bandwagon, the GV70 is honestly worth buying, and that's not something you hear quite often about non-German vehicles in this segment. With Alfa Romeo, you're likely drawn in by a design. Volvo entices you with safety, and Lexus and Acura offer crossovers with appealing price tags. But Genesis is providing you with all of that and more with the GV70, as you have a classy and upscale exterior and interior, but you also have the performance, safety, and technology that makes it a great overall value. While there are some points of emphasis that we'd like to see Genesis address, like more soft-touch padding for the dashboard and armrests to go along with full leather seats rather than having suede inserts that come standard for the Sport Prestige, the strengths far outweigh the weaknesses. And when you compare the GV70 to other non-German luxury crossovers, it just might be better than the competition. We hope you enjoyed this quick buyer's guide for the 2022 Genesis GV70. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And if you're interested in buying a GV70 or any other luxury compact crossover, make sure to check out our full reviews to help you find your next vehicle. And thanks for watching!